Hello everybody, Father Rich here with Vinyl Finds 187, I believe. Now again, this one isn't as good as Noble Records, but considering he buys more records in a day than I do all year, it's pretty darn good. And it's got some Inyo Butte classics. I mean, really. Well, 2 days ago, I did something I haven't done for probably 9 months or more. I went into a record store and bought 4 records and I spent $100 plus tax. I haven't been doing that lately. I've been taking records in and exchange. I have been buying some online, but anyways, I went in, and when I go to Underground Records, I always go to the right and look on the wall over there above the metal and the punk and the alternative. And this was on the wall. TV Repairman. What's on TV? Now, this is the second press. The first one, I believe, was blue. I've seen many people show this. I know Ryan Kidd, this is one of his favorite bands from last year. I think it's pretty good. Let's put it that way. It's kind of like that 70s pogo punk, you know? You know, when you see these goofy guys like bouncing like this to listen to that 70s punk, it's kind of like that. It kind of reminds me of that, you know. I think it's just one guy that does everything. And he's from Australia. And there's a whole bunch of bands that are kind of all associated with one another. And I don't remember a one of them. But anyways, I think I have a single by this guy. I don't have any of their albums, though. Now, Metal Theologian has a theory about band names. Metal bands are usually singular. Punk rock bands are usually plural. You know, like you got the English Dogs. If they were a metal band, they would just be called English Dog, you know? But this album kind of breaks that rule. Considering it's a punk album, it should be TV Repairmen. But maybe it gets a pass from his rule, because this has got to be one of the worst band names ever. I mean, it's terrible. That's what the album looks like. Both sides are kind of the same. Got little drawings. And the drawings are exactly the same. No, they're not. Almost. Very cool. It's got a lyric insert with all the lyrics. This guy's complaining about there's nothing to do a lot and how everything sucks. Now, just above that was a classic English punk album. It's their second album. I grabbed that and I go, you know, these are the only 2 I'm going to get. But I went to the back and I was looking through the Spanish language stuff on the wall. I always look under the James Brown, the Isley Brothers, and Kool and the Gang, just to see if there's anything new there. Wasn't. And then I thought, you know what, I want to get that, the debut album by Canned Heat. I wouldn't mind getting Vintage Heat either. And I went over to went to the C's, and I'm going through, and I came across this one. And I normally don't look at the classic rock going underground. I usually go to the punk alternate, and I usually find more than enough, and I leave it at that. But I found CA Quintet. This is a psychedelic classic. Trip Through Hell is the name of the album. And this is the Sunday's Rare as Hell, it is. And it's pressed on Hellfire vinyl. Now, I've refrained from picking this. I've been aware of this album for a long time. I stream it all the time in the backyard when I'm barbecuing or drinking beers or whatever. So I know this album like the back of my hand. It's a psychedelic. It's a top-notch psychedelic album. And I know Sundays did some reissues back in the 90s, and well, let's just put it this way. I've gotten feedback, or I've heard people say that there were some noisy presses of this album. And I don't know if it was the ones that came out in the 90s or ones that came out after. But this one here, it says 2022, but I believe this red one was released in 2023. But if you see one that says the 2022, it's fantastic. It's not noisy at all. And I'll show the vinyl. It's on this red, Hellfire red, was it? Now the thing about this though, it's in this sleeve. Feels like plastic. I don't know, man. I'm kind of leery of the sleeve. I might upgrade and put it in a paper sleeve or something. You know, I don't know, man. I don't know if this is PVC, plastic. I don't know. It's not your normal MoFi sleeve at all. So I might have to upgrade that, put it in a paper sleeve. But anyways, this is a fantastic album. The first song is Trip Through Hell Part 1. And it's got this female vocalist. And this really weird, garagey, psychedelic stuff going on. Then it's a 9-minute song. After probably about 3 or 4 minutes, it kind of fades and then it goes into this drum solo. But it's pretty, couple of minute drum solo at least. I would say at least a 3-minute drum solo. On the first song, and you're going, oh, fuck. You know, the first time hearing this, I would have been like, oh my God. But the drum solos, it's kind of weird. It's real echoey. It's like I don't know, it's very trippy drum solo. And what's weird about it is the guy that plays the drum solo, Rick Patron, it's the only thing he does on the whole album. The regular drums on the songs is played by somebody else. It's kind of weird. And then there's Ken Irwin. He's the lead vocalist and he plays trumpet. So there are some, it's not like the trumpet is ever the main instrument, like the focus. It's always like kind of in the background and it's pretty trippy trumpet playing. But yeah, very good album, man. Like the first song on side 2 is Underground Music. And they'll go, underground. And then you hear this, da, 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 or, you know, something like that. It's kind of funny. And then that, after a couple of minutes or so, or a minute and a half, 2 minutes, that breaks into this weird psychedelic guitar, some keyboards, but mainly guitar, crazy psychedelic guitars. I mean, at times it almost sounds like Butthole Surfer's crazy, you know what I mean? And then there's a couple other songs. After the second song, there's a little short refrain of that Trip Through Hell. It's that lady. And then the last song is Trip Through Hell Part 2. And that's kind of broken up into different sections. But yeah, this is a well-regarded psych album. People that are psych heads know this album. People that kind of aren't real familiar with the psych may not know it, but I highly recommend this. And I highly recommend the 2022 pressing. Now, when I was at the C's, I got that. I go, okay, I'm getting this, you know. Then I looked up, and over there in the alternative section, this record here was in the front. I go, oh, I'm getting that. So after I got this one, I put the classic one back. The 70, probably 78 punk album back. And I'll probably go back if it's still there this weekend, hopefully. If not, yeah. But I'll take like 4 or 5 records, trade them in, and get that one. And that'll be on my next Final Finds. But anyways, this is the Libertines, Up the Brackets. Up the Bracket. Now this band did absolutely nothing in the States. In fact, I never even heard of them until that Pete Doherty guy started getting arrested for crack, and his girlfriend was a model. I don't know. Was it Kate Moss or I don't know. And it was about the early 2000s, you know. It was in the 2000s. And that was when I used to like upload or download stuff, whatever you call it. Yeah, download stuff off of BearShare. And I downloaded this. I downloaded their second album. They had all kind of like demos. Like there was one song like Past the Crack, and then I probably had 4 burnt CDs of these guys, and I used to play them quite a bit. I believe I have this on CD, and I think Peter Doherty left this band, and I think it was Baby Shambles, if I'm thinking right. Should have looked it up, but I didn't. And I had that one on CD, their first album. That's pretty good. But yeah, I like these guys. It's kind of poppy rock, but it's played real kind of sloppily or not real clean. But they're really good, and the songs are really sped up. So at first you don't really notice how good of pop songs some of these are, you know, because they're so sped up. But yeah, I really dig these guys, man. I used to listen to them a lot, and I'm glad I got this. It's a 2 LP version. This is the regular record. It's on black vinyl. Up the bracket. And it comes with the second LP, Alive at the 100 Club. And yeah, really cool. They had 2 singers. Peter Doherty and I can't remember the other guy's name. I know the English guys are probably yelling, oh, the other guy's better, you know. And the thing about this, their first 2 albums were produced by Mick Jones of The Clash. So I had those 3 albums in hand. I thought, that's enough. And then I asked the store owner, I go, what are you playing? Because the whole time I was in there, he was playing this one album. And I believe he played it like he played it through, and then you could tell he started it over again. And I go, who's that? And he showed me. It's Bloodstains. And I go, wow. I go, are they from the 80s? And he goes, no, it's a new band, just a new release. I go, what? I go, they sound like 82 LA punk. They like the Adolescents, man. These guys have the Adolescent sound down. In fact, this is better than the only Adolescents album that's better than this is probably their first one, maybe the second. Now I would say this is better than the Adolescents' second album, and it's fantastic. But it is Adolescents, kind of Orange County worship. And there's 4 songs on each side, I believe. The first song on side 1 is an instrumental, and it's fantastic, man. Bloodstains. I think that's how that side goes. On black vinyl. Orange County band. I think they're from Santa Ana. 4 Mexican dudes from Santa Ana. This is fantastic, man. I like this better than the TV Repairman. Let's put it that way. Now, the last few I'm going to show here, I bought like 3 or so weeks ago. And this is the Golden Dawn. Power Plant is the name of the album. Now, I've been going the reissue route on 60 psychedelic for the most part. It's cheaper. They sound fine. You know, most of the time they sound great. But I saw this in the price in the $40 range. And it's an original on International Artist, which is the label that the 13th Floor Elevators are on. And this album, when it was released in 1968, it was kind of compared to the 13th Floor Elevators' second album. What is it? Easter Everywhere, whatever. And it was kind of like, they're just copying Easter Everywhere. But the thing is, this was recorded in 1966. It was recorded a year before 13th Floor Elevators. But the label held onto it because they didn't want to release this before 13th Floor Elevators. So it kind of sucks. After this was released, I think the band kind of dissolved. But it's a fantastic psychedelic album. Now, I bought it on Discogs. And I usually don't have a problem on Discogs. But this guy had the vinyl listed as VG Plus and the jacket at VG Plus. Now, I would say the jacket is closer to near mint. But in between the songs, there's too much background noise. For me, I wouldn't call this VG Plus. Once the music's going, it's fine. I mean, you can't hear the crackling, snap, crackle, and pop. But when you first put it on side one, there's a lot of... And the first song is Evolution. The song starts out with wind chimes. So it kind of ruins that. So I'm going to contact the guy and tell him, hey, you know what? If I sold this album, I wouldn't be able to sell it in good conscience as a VG Plus. And we'll see, I don't want to leave the guy a bad review, but I don't know. We'll see. Maybe I'll get $10 off and it'll be in the $30 range. Now, this next one I was watching a live stream. Analog Attack is the channel. I'll put a link to the actual video or stream I watched. And Uncommon Pollard was one of the, there was 4 people. He was up in the upper right. And, they were all showing albums. The guy in the lower left showed this one. An album I've never seen, never heard of. The Vile Cherubs. Now, a cherub is like an angelic form with a winged beast with a human face. Or it's an innocent baby or something like that. But these are violins. And it's on Discord Records. And I go, man, this looks like it would be something the Jazz Bums would show. You know what I mean? This is way better than anything the Jazz Bums would show, though. And he described it as kind of a mixture of Discord sounding hardcore or punk mixed with garage. I go, man, that sounds interesting, So I was watching them and I went on Discogs while I'm watching these guys and I ordered it. Didn't listen to it at all. There was a $20 VG Plus or near mint. I can't remember. And it's really good. It sounds a lot, not all the time. Some of the time it's got like a 60s garage kind of feel. Some of the time it sounds like Mudhoney. And this came out, I think, in 87 or something like that. And it's on blue vinyl with no labels. They got this stick figure, like, silk screened on there. And you can see them. There's no labels, and that's the only thing on there is that red stick man. But yeah, man, what a surprise that album was. I love it when you hear... You come across something that's like, man, this is like total new. I mean, kind of familiar, but it's just something that, out of the ordinary. This is the lyric sheet and some notes and holy mackerel. I'm not going to read that. And I got one last one that I picked up a while ago. I think I went in there to talk to the guy of Underground Records. I was in the neighborhood because they're moving, and I was talking to him, and I hit him up to see does he need any help moving, and he had this record, Game, their second release. What is it? Lead Your Demon? I don't know. I have their first album. I don't know if the singer's Hungarian or I don't know, whatever. Her English. If you look, I don't know whatever language that is. And then over here you got English. So she sings English in this other language, and she does it flawlessly, both. And yeah, this is very fast. Kind of D-beat, I guess. I mean, I'm not good with the genre names, but it's very fast. Female-fronted vocals. But it's not like the old female vocals like in the 80s. A lot of those punk female vocals, they were real screechy. Nah. This is fantastic. And this song here, Shard, it's going, you know, with this fast pace, and then it slows down, and it kind of ends with these almost Black Sabbath type chords, and then it goes straight into this song, you know, it just blends straight in, and that's a slow song. So the last song on side 2 is slow, kind of sounds gothy even, you know. Yeah. That's what the label looks like. This is side A, and it tells you to play it loud, which I did. And it's fantastic, man. In fact, every one of these albums, I would 2 thumbs up. And this one came with a pretty big lyric sheet. It's kind of, I wish I would have just put a smaller one, but whatever, you know. It's on newsprint, very delicate kind of thing. I guess it's cool, you know, if you're a teenager or something, but I'm a grown man, I don't need a poster-sized lyric sheet. Anyways, take care, everybody. Hope everybody's doing good. Hey, I didn't watch the State of the Union address. I never watch those, especially in a campaign year. But yeah, I found out that Lincoln Riley, the USC football coach, was killed by illegal immigrants. Man, who knew that, man? Lincoln Riley, wow.